everyone, and welcome back to the desk with me, Alex at the desk. And I've got something here that we're going to be attempting to restore and get running. It's the Triang Hornby 8509 LNER B12. So yes, what I have here is something I bought on eBay. It's the Triang LNER, or Triang Hornby LNER B12. And there's some interesting things with the numbering on this because the end flaps are missing and the tray says R150S, which is not strictly correct. So I'm going to take it and put it on the desk here, and I'll give you a close-up and I'll explain a bit about it and we'll see if we can get it running. So here we have the model, and I've not really taken it out of its box to have a look at. It's just been sat in the bag where I keep my eBay purchases, so I've had it a while anyways. There is some damage to this model, but it didn't cost me very much. I don't think it cost me more than like 20 quid. So I think we're missing a step. It's actually on the table here. I just checked that. So there's a step there, I think that's off of here. Yeah, so at first glance, it's a bit grubby. It's a bit covered in these weird little orange dots, which I don't know if you can see, but it's all over it. Whatever that is. The tender is not fantastic. I might have to get a new one in future. It's cracked. But, you know, when it's running round, it might not necessarily be too noticeable. So this is the earlier type of tender because it doesn't have the synchro sound or whatever it is, you know, the steam sound that goes with it. So basically, the reason why I think we've got this 150S tray, and why I like the tooling, if I remember, it has a bit here that says 150 on it, is because obviously originally it was the 150 under Triang, and this is the Triang Hornby model, which is slightly later. So originally the tooling was introduced in about, what was it, 1963, and get that in focus now. Obviously there was a BR example, which was in BR Black, and I think that was the R150, and then presumably it had a smoke unit in it, so that became the R150S. I've double checked this with the Hornby guide, and the first one of Triang Hornby's is the R866, something like that, 866S, yeah, because it's the steam one. So that was introduced in 1970, and the LNER version was in that range from 1970 to 74, and then 78 to 79. But this one, like I said, it's supposed to have smoke, but it doesn't have the sound in the tender, so it doesn't make that lovely click-clack noise. So we're going to try and open this up and just check what's inside it. So you've got the usual screw here. I mean, it looks fairly tidy. The windows in the cab seem to be undamaged for now. I don't know how brittle this plastic's going to be. I mean, say this is from 1970. That's what now, 30... 56 years old. And you see we've got the Triang's probably an XO4 motor, I think, with the brass worm, and you've got the what's it called? Look, the wheels do go around. That's a good start. The synchro smoke. So synchro smoke's different to the sooth smoke units in that you have this wheel that's powered by the worm, and that puffs through. And we've got some wadding in there, which I'm going to replace, but I've no idea if there's an element in there or not. I've no idea. We've got this little bit here, which is supposed to aim it out of the funnel there. So, there's the steam element, or smoke element. Hopefully that's all right. It goes in there somewhere in the wadding. I don't really know how it all works. So I'm going to dust that down and dust the orange off of that. And I don't know how I'm going to clean the orange off that, because use a brush and just try my best. So we'll just grab any old brush and see, can we get all this weird stuff to come off. So what I'll do is I'll pop it up on the track in a minute behind the desk. And I've got it set up to the red knob controller, so just give it a bit more oomph. And we'll see whether it actually works or not, because I haven't actually tried it to see whether it works or not. Which probably would have been a good idea before I started this video, just to see if there was any life in the old girl. But, you know, there we go. It's coming out a bit better now. It's all over the sides of the tender for some reason. Right, so I guess I better get the track ready and we can test and see whether there's any life in it, or if things are going to get a whole lot more complicated. So we have our railway line here. I don't know which direction it's set up to. Yeah, I mean, the wheels, they're not the cleanest. But we'll see now anyways. I don't know which direction it's going to go. The track is clean. Oh, ooh, we do have a bit of life in the motor. Not much though. Alright. Well, let me just clean the wheels and I'll see if I can do anything with it. So I've cleaned the wheels and it left my brass wheels thing completely black with filth. But we'll see now whether this is any improvement. Oh, we know there's some brown wires there. I don't know about cleaning the contacts themselves, but right, the motor's going around at least anyways. How strong is that? It's not too bad. There's some energy there. Right, I suppose we've got to check whether the commutator is dirty. So I suppose this is going to be annoying that I have to mess with the brushes. Take that off now. That's obviously come unsoldered from somewhere at that end for the smoke generator. But let's see now. Pull that piece out of there. I've got one brush there. Do the brushes there. Come on. There we go. Right, we've got our two brushes there. They could do with a bit of clean anyways, I'd say. Right, the one that's all green is the one that's been up against this. And you can probably tell now that the commutator is quite black. So we'll have to try and get that cleaned up. So we're just cleaning the commutator there, and I've already gone over it once, and for some reason the camera wasn't filming. I have no idea why, but I've just gone over it there again, just to make sure it's nice and clean. And I've rubbed something up and down the gaps between the commutator pieces, and I've got my brushes here that are getting a nice clean, just to make sure there's nothing shouldn't be on them. So hopefully they'll be right. So this one's kind of green, where it's been, you know, resting against the arm of the thing. We can go there and clean it up like that. Keep it nice. I don't know how worn these are, but it doesn't look too bad. The way the locomotive looks, it looks like a fairly clean locomotive. So either it was kind of looked after, or it just wasn't used a lot. So I'm just going to reassemble this. Right, well I did that off camera because it was quite difficult and involved a lot of cussing, but I have the motor brushes back on, so we can see now whether this is going to work. We just pop it up on the railway. So clean the wheels, I put the brushes back in, I have to clean the commutator. Right, things seem to be improving a little bit. Contacts look pretty clean as to the wheel rims, but I'll have to check those, I suppose. The best way to do this is to take this and move it and check. What we have here is a nice, clean, very new looking contact. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And the other side is pretty much the same. Can't see anything wrong with that. So if I increase the power. Now, this is with the obviously the synchro smoke's not set up. I can actually lift you up a bit. Look. You can see it. So where we are. This is with the power turned up. The synchro smoke's not connected. Look at the top. Right. Well, that's an improvement. Right, so we're going to pose the question now as to what can we do about the smoke generator. And so inside the smoke generator section there is this sort of wadding, and I've got this out of here before, but it's looking a bit, you know, hang on. I lowered it up to the camera. It's not looking great, to be honest. The chamber itself has more of this fluff inside it. Now, other than that, it doesn't look too bad. So I've got this wadding. I can't remember if I got it. I think I got it from like Peter Spares or somewhere. Like that. It's just a little bag of stuff. I don't even know what it's made of. But hopefully we can take some of that. And Jesus, doesn't want to come out the bag. So we can take that, and I don't know if that's even too much now. I can split it again, but see now. We poke that down in there, nice and snug. We don't want too many strands going into the motor or anything. Just keep poking it down in there like that. And then you stick the smoke element presumably into that section there, the smoke fuse thing. And then you've got this wire here, which I think goes into this end piece here. I'm not 100% certain how it all works. It's a bit before my time, you know. But when we opened it, the wire was at this end, so just that go in that hole like that, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. What I notice is that padding goes in there, and we add some oily stuff, and it'll vaporize it. These bits are really annoying me. Where are my scissors? Right. There we go. They're up in there now, and see that bit goes on top like that. So I'm guessing that maybe this bit sort of sandwiches underneath there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this blob of stuff. Rather than trying to fit it into the spongy brown bit, the top of the spongy brown bit's broken, and I'm wondering whether it's supposed to be that soft or not. But if I pop that in there like that, it's sort of in the right place, I guess. I have no idea. So I'll have to get some oil for that and see whether it whether it works or not. Right, so I've placed an oil inside the thing here, so hopefully that will work. So I'll just set up the railway and we'll see if we can get some smoke coming up from the generator before I put the body on. Right, so we'll just place it on this way. And we'll see now whether anything happens. Right, so the smoke part doesn't really work, but that might be down to what oil I've put in it. But we can now reassemble it. And so this model originally in like 1970 cost 82 shillings and sixpence, which was about £4.13, or corrected for inflation, over £57, which is an increase of what was it, 1,200 and something percent. So that's yeah, not what I paid for it. I paid a lot less than £57 for it. So 1509, as this engine would have been when it came out under the GER, entered service, or was built around, was it April 1913, and then it was on the LNER's books as 8509, and then it had a 7423 number which was never put on it, and then in BR days it was 61509, and it was withdrawn on the 15th of October of 1948. But I quite like it because it was shedded at Yarmouth and then Norwich Thorpe, and then finished its days at Ipswich. So it's kind of local to where I grew up, which is quite nice. I don't really know if there's much else I can say about it than that, you know. Well, that's where it was in the 40s. I don't necessarily know where it was before that, but that was LNER days, around the sort of wartime era. There we are. And if you want to see a real B12, there's an, I think it's still an LNER green, B12 up at the Norfolk Railway, and Hornby are releasing a brand new model of that, of the super detailed version of their B12. They're releasing one of the preserved example, I think. So that's kind of cool. So we have it all together now, and we can pop it up on the railway and see whether it works with the body on. That is up there. And let's see now. Yeah, sure, run. Doesn't know if she'll go much slower than that though. Nope, that's as slow as she'll go without stalling. I'm sure she's an old girl now. She's, what did I say, 56 years old. Yeah, so I think that went rather well. And the fact that this is now working is rather lovely. So I think later on I might pop down here and run it with my LNER teaks that I improved on this series before. Really happy with actually how that turned out, because I didn't think it was going to work at all. And we'll work on that smoke thing in future. Thank you very much for joining me for trying to do this anyways. Thank you to everyone who likes, comments, shares and subscribes, and I'll see you down at the desk again another time soon. Probably till I'm shaking because it's still quite cold down here. But at least our heating's fixed. But yeah, it's quite cold in here. Yeah, so a lovely LNER green B12. Marvellous. Don't forget you can also find the subscribe bubble and the playlist thing. But I'm off to find a job for it. I don't know why I didn't wear one. Ta-ra.